I am a Beyonce fan, and I have to tell you, I'm going to be watching this documentary, even if she doesn't introduce us to new stuff, even if she tells us that story about how her daddy used to have them run in high heels again. I'm watching. Because fortunately, one of the TVs in our kitchen has closed captioning, so I'll be able to understand what she says. You know, Beyonce can't talk. Beyonce sounds like she's got a 5th grade education. She can't talk.
If you thought Wendy Williams was done being messy because she's out of her purple chair, you've got another thing coming. She's back. And this time around, she's going in on Beyoncé for supposedly putting pressure on her to take back all the things she said about her over the years. But if there's one thing Wendy hates more than anything, it's someone telling her what to do. Okay, so have you guys ever noticed how celebs always say thank you to Beyoncé whenever they do something or come up for an award on stage? After Liza won the Grammy for Record of the Year in 2023 and came on stage to thank Beyoncé, it became a whole thing on social media. People found a bunch of videos where people were just thanking Beyoncé every chance they got. And Beyoncé, on her own part, always has the courtesy of looking surprised and humble every time, like clockwork.
She controls all women. Beyonce owns women. This is true. Around the world.
I even heard it from Beyonce and all of her Beyonce-ness.
Fastest woman in the world. Is that a lot of pressure that comes with that? No, because I know the truth. I know Beyonce is the queen of the world.
Oh, nice to meet you. The biggest female in the world. No, I'm not. Beyonce is. Duh. Do not blaspheme Beyonce.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, The Guardian recently said that you're the woman right now making like the best pop music on the planet.
As long as Beyonce is alive, that statement is not true.
Thank you. Beyonce's new album release. Woo. I'm excited, but is it okay to release something this fire during a heat wave?
Beyonce, whoo! In the 5th grade, I skipped school to see you perform. My sister, she got me out of school. It was literature. I'm good. And where are you at, Beyonce? My eyes are wet. You changed my life. You sang that gospel medley, and the way you made me feel, I was like, I want to make people feel this way with my music. So thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives.
Like, what kind of hold does Beyoncé have on these people? I mean, what type of power does she have that makes everyone defer to her like this? Music. Even Clive Davis once called her the First Lady of Music. It's either she's such a sweetheart behind the scenes, or there is something else going on that we don't know about. And according to Wendy, the reason they have to perform like they are not a threat to Beyoncé is because of her hold over the media and the machine backing her. Maybe not in the beginning, but by the time she and Jay got together, Beyoncé has become a master of perception. She has a unique way of controlling what we see, believe, and condemn. Year after year since the cheating scandal, Jay-Z is getting dragged for something, and there's always someone with new information on what he is going on behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Beyoncé appears more angelic, polished, and elegant. But that wasn't the only thing that she had going for her. To sit on the throne, talent, and beauty just isn't enough. You need a massive budget, reach, scale, and a machine working overtime to get you through anything. And Beyoncé had all 4, and then some. Think about it for a minute. When she and Jay first got together, they were on equal footing. But as time went on, it's fair to say that Beyoncé became a global artist. And some would argue that being married to her is what truly got Jay-Z into some rooms and gave him some protection in the media. And if you check right now, there is hardly any major media platform that has something negative or bad to say about Beyoncé and Jay-Z. If anything, it's the person who speaks up against them that ends up getting blacklisted from the music industry. Think about what happened to Nicki. I mean, the minute she started calling out Jay for scamming her and other people through his title deal, her media visibility dropped rapidly. Right now, we rarely see Nicki get invited or nominated for anything. Not because she isn't talented or successful enough, but for the simple fact that she rubbed Jay and Beyoncé the wrong way. But it wasn't only Nicki that got treated this way. Brandy also got burned. A story was floating around that Brandy, bitter about Beyoncé's success, had tried to turn Kelly against her. She told Kelly to stop living in Beyoncé's shadow and do her own thing. The thing is, Bry's producer, Darkchild, who she worked with to create a sound for Full Moon and Never Say Never, dismissed her in favor of Beyoncé. Brandy admitted that she walked out of their session angry and embarrassed. But by the time she pulled it together to release Aphrodisiac, the sound she'd created with him was already synonymous with Beyoncé. Brandy lost her footing, and if she wanted to continue with that sound, it would only be seen as an imitation of Beyoncé's work. So, it makes sense why she wouldn't be too happy with Beyoncé. And instead of listening to her, Kelly stepped away from Brandy, and their friendship has been strained since. Music. Then, in 2017, Brandy made the mistake of saying that she wasn't a fan of Bow Down.
I know that you are a Beyoncé fan.
I am.
You're a Beyoncé fan, and she recently put out her new song, Bow Down. People are talking about it. Can you weigh in here? Do you think that it deserves such backlash?
You know what? I think art is freedom. You know what I'm saying? And you should be able to express yourself the way you choose to express yourself. Of course, you know, people are gonna have their own opinions. They're gonna, you know, but opinion is opinion. I think art should be expressed the way it should.
Do you love the song?
I don't love the song, but I love Beyonce.
Now, it's one of the most normal things in the world not to like every song an artist puts out. But since it's Beyonce she was talking about, the pylon was relentless. Brandy was torn apart anywhere you looked. She eventually came out of it, but it was enough to tell anyone what would happen if they speak against Queen Bee. However, it wasn't only Brandy that didn't get behind Beyoncé's song Bow Down. Kesha Cole was another artist who wasn't here for Beyoncé's switch from female empowerment to this I'm better than everyone attitude. Kesha said, "First, women need to stick together. Now better bow. Chicks stay shooting the can't stand when people act all self-righteous when it's convenient to make themselves look good." Kesha did make a valid point, and any other artist would have been called out for the contradiction, but since it's Beyoncé, the conversation got turned on Kesha. The framing shifted to Kesha being bitter, jealous, and irritating. People bashed her for taking a simple song so seriously and that she was being childish. And before Nicki Minaj, Brandy, and Kesha Cole, there was Blue Cantrell. She came on in the early 2000s and had an actual presence with hit songs Breathe and Hit Up Style. To all who looked, Blue Cantrell was shaping up to be something. At least until she hooked up with Jay-Z. Word got out that she was seeing Jay-Z in 2001, music around the same time he was being linked to Beyoncé. To make it worse, she did an interview with Wendy Williams and said a few things that she should have probably kept to herself.
Romantically?
No. No, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Oh, she's touching him up the neck! Look! You see?
Why do people not want to let the Jay-Z Blue Cantrell thing go?
Because, honey, that was a fabulous little high point in your
career. Well, what about Beyonce and Jay-Z? That's fabulous.
Yeah, but...
But Blue Cantrell was signed to Def Jam. And after Jay was appointed president of the label in 2004, he just so happened to forget to renew her contract. Blue wiped it off as a mistake on the label's part, but what happened next was nothing short of sabotage. Her video roundup with Lady May had very uncomfortable similarities with Beyoncé's Bonnie and Clyde. Blue Cantrell put out Breathe featuring Sean Paul, with the word breathe featuring heavily in the song. A few months later, Beyoncé put out Baby Boy, also with Sean Paul, and also had the same word as a major part of her song. At that point, Blue had seen enough to play it off as a coincidence and called Beyoncé out directly. But all she got was silence. Some even called her bitter about Beyoncé's success since she was younger than her, and no one really sympathized over what was taken from her. So, it makes sense why artists would rather kiss the ring, save their careers, and move on than disregard them and face pressure behind the scenes, since no one wants to be another lesson in what happens when you cross Beyoncé. I mean, it wasn't until recently that folks started to call Beyoncé out. But if there's someone that's been clocking BA's game for a minute, it's Wendy Williams. One thing about Wendy is that whenever she spoke about Beyoncé and Jay, it didn't seem like there was any kind of hidden vendetta or dislike for them. She's always given Beyoncé her flowers, and one time said that Bey was the greatest performer alive or dead.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
This is my opinion, and we can fight all day. I don't care. Beyonce, is the greatest performer of all time, living or dead. Yep.
Almost got eaten alive for that one, but she said what she said, and she isn't one to eat her words for anybody. However, as much as Wendy is a fan of Beyoncé, she's not blind to see exactly what tactics she uses to stay relevant, including her fierce competition with other female artists when they start getting a bit of praise and attention. And once you stop trying to place Beyoncé on this pedestal and stop seeing her as this person that can do no wrong, it's easy to see the trick she plays. The first time Wendy ever had something bad to say about Beyoncé was when her belly bump folded on national TV. Many media outlets stayed away from the drama, but not Wendy. She called out how absurd it was for anyone's belly to crumple like that, and it should make anyone do a double take. Even if you're a hardcore fan, Wendy almost got eaten alive for that one, but she said what she said, and she isn't one to eat her words for anybody. However, as much as Wendy is a fan of Beyoncé, she's not blind to see exactly what tactics she uses to stay relevant, including her fierce competition with other female artists when they start getting a bit of praise and attention. And once you stop trying to place Beyoncé on this pedestal and stop seeing her as this person that can do no wrong, it's easy to see the trick she plays. The first time Wendy ever had something bad to say about Beyoncé was when her belly bump folded on national TV. Many media outlets stayed away from the drama, but not Wendy. She called out how absurd it was for anyone's belly to crumple like that, and it should make anyone do a double take, even if you're a hardcore fan.
Beyonce, come on, you're not like that, are you? You know how some of these celebrities can be, though. Anything for attention.
Since then, it's not stopped. She has rightfully called out Jay and Beyoncé's marriage as nothing more than a business arrangement. Maybe it started out as love in the beginning, but after Beyoncé got publicly embarrassed with a cheating scandal, it became a way to protect their brand and have each other's back.
It's being reported that this is a business relationship. Now, I refuse to believe that it started out this way. I believe that in the beginning, they were in love, like two people fall in love, and then you get married, and then maybe sometimes, and I'm not suggesting that this is them, but I'm just trying to look at both sides of the coin. Sometimes when business gets so big and you've got two stars in the family and they're competing with one another, sometimes it becomes about staying together so that we, John Q. Public, think that everything's perfect.
The talk about Beyoncé possibly taking from other artists has been taboo for a while. No one wants to say the quiet part out loud and get dragged for it. But not Wendy. She pointed out that all the times Beyoncé has been called an innovator or creative, she has been completely inspired or straight up stolen from other artists. Wendy was also one of the first to point out how much Jay-Z and Beyoncé manipulate the media, especially with Beyoncé being so particular about her image and what's being said about her.
Okay, I think that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are master manipulators of the media. And I also think, yeah. And I think that they are to the point, they will manipulate almost anything. Like, I think it's bad karma to lie about the state of your marriage. Or, you know, I wouldn't even say, you know, I missed work because my son is sick, if he's really not sick, because that just puts a bad karma on you, you know what I mean? Do I think they're pregnant? Probably not. Not for lack of trying, but just because, you know, he changed those words to the lyrics just to get us talking, and so we're talking. You know what I do think, though? I do think that they've announced this to stay in our eyes.
When Wendy's health got bad from grave disease and she was locked under a conservatorship, some said that it was her karma for talking bad about other celebrities and dunking on people like Beyoncé, who never have a single negative thing to say about anybody. I mean, an article in the National Enquirer even talked about how Beyoncé was hurt by some of the things Wendy said about her since she considered her a friend. But Wendy threw that right back in Bob's face that they aren't friends. She's never partied with them, never attended any of their events, and she's always going to say things as they are because it's her job to do so.
Says another source, was the fact that some of the rumors were being perpetuated by people they considered friends, like talk show host Wendy Williams. Well, first of all, you're not a credible source, because if you were, then you would know. I've never partied with them. I've never been to their house. I don't swim in their pool. Like, we're not friends. I'm a pop culture pundit and commentator, right? That's what you call it. Pop culture woman. And I talk about.
And even despite her health struggles, Wendy still stands by what she said. She didn't set out to destroy an entertainer that people idolize or take down a family that folks call pop royalty. But what Wendy wants is for people to look past the facade and stop getting deceived just because Beyoncé and Jay happen to be black. While Jay was getting called out for his deal with Target and trying to undercut the community again, Beyoncé put out her secret video, meaning that she quietly backs her husband, music, and likely benefits from those deals since they are married. And if you follow Beyoncé's track record, she'd done similar things as well. And it should be okay for Wendy or any other person to speak on it without folks acting like it's blasphemy to talk bad about Beyoncé. And people agreed with her, saying, "As a very big fan of B and J, I'm so tired of acting like we can't critique them. I've always wondered how, when, and why Beyoncé was turned into a deity. They handed her Grammys like Tic Tacs. Why is everyone scared to say they don't like Beyoncé? Like, is she God that she's going to strike you down?" But what do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe.